Attention passionate Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Pittsburgh Steelers' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Pittsburgh Steelers fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Let's get to the news now, folks. What if I told you that the Steelers, yes, the Steelers, might be on the verge of pulling off one of the most audacious moves in recent NFL history? That they could be in talks to acquire a player who, just last season, was a key piece of their division rival's offense. That's right. It's not just some rumor, it's a real possibility, and it could shake up the entire AFC North. We're talking about the potential trade of A.J. Brown from the Philadelphia Eagles to the Steelers. And if it happens, it's going to be a game changer, no doubt about it. Let's take a step back and look at why this rumor is gaining so much traction now. The Eagles, fresh off an incredible Super Bowl victory, are sitting pretty with a roster stacked with offensive firepower. Jalen Hurts, Devonta Smith, and Saquon Barkley are all core pieces that make this team a serious contender once again. But even with all that talent, the Eagles are facing some tough roster decisions. They're eyeing their future, especially on the defensive line, where they want to improve and keep their championship window open. And that's where this trade idea comes into play. The Eagles, believe it or not, might be looking to trade A.J. Brown, who was phenomenal last season, amassing over 200 receiving yards and 9 touchdowns, despite missing some games early on due to a knee injury. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Why would a Super Bowl champion team trade away one of their top offensive weapons? Well, here's the thing. Brown is under contract until 2029 with a 3-year, $96 million deal. But despite signing that extension last offseason, he's now the 5th highest paid wide receiver in the league, after Ja'Marr Chase just reset the market with a massive deal with the Bengals. So, Brown is in a position where he might want to renegotiate or even seek a new contract that reflects his value, especially as he's 28 and in the later stages of his prime. The Eagles, on the other hand, have Devonta Smith waiting in the wings, ready to be the new star at wide receiver, and they also have Saquon Barkley to handle the ground game. Trading Brown now, while his value is at its peak, could make a lot of sense from a strategic standpoint. It would free up cap space, give them room to make other moves, and help them build a more balanced roster. But the question is, who could be the team to take advantage of this opportunity? And here's where the Steelers come into the picture. Pittsburgh, as you know, is always in the mix for big moves, especially when it comes to bolstering their offense. They've been looking to upgrade the wide receiver room, and with the recent trade for DK Metcalf and the trade of George Pickens to Dallas, they've created some gaps that need filling. And let's talk about the Steelers' current situation. They are in a very interesting position heading into this season. They've signed Aaron Rodgers as their quarterback, a move that instantly boosts their offensive credibility and leadership. They also brought in veteran Darius Slay to strengthen their secondary, and they've been aggressive in trades and signings to surround Rodgers with talent. But despite all these moves, the wide receiver position still has some holes, especially after trading away George Pickens. The addition of a player like A.J. Brown could be the perfect piece to complement DK Metcalf. Imagine Brown lining up on the outside, creating mismatches, and giving Rodgers a reliable target for contested catches. From the Steelers' perspective, they are trying to go all in this season. They are pushing all their chips to the table, trying to make a serious run at the Super Bowl. And acquiring A.J. Brown could be a part of that plan. Not only would it give them a top-tier receiver, but it would also bring back that dynamic, playmaking threat that they need to compete in this tough AFC. Remember, Brown's impact last season was undeniable. Despite missing some early games, he finished with over 200 yards and 9 touchdowns, showing that he can produce at an elite level when healthy. Pairing him with DK Metcalf would instantly give the Steelers a formidable duo that defenses would struggle to contain. But the trade doesn't just benefit the Steelers. It also opens up some interesting strategic possibilities for the Eagles. They might be looking to shuffle their roster, especially considering the salary cap implications. Trading A.J. Brown could free up significant cap space, and allow them to focus on their younger receivers like Devonta Smith for the future. Plus, with the NFL's evolving landscape, teams are always looking for that extra edge. Having a player like TJ Watt on the other side of the defense makes the Steelers a team that's already dangerous, but adding a talent like Brown to their offense could elevate them to an entirely new level. Now, about Watt. He's been a franchise cornerstone for the Steelers. His presence on the defensive line is enormous, and he's been a relentless pass rusher. But here's the thing, contract negotiations with Watt are ongoing, and with training camp just around the corner, time is pressing. Watt has one more year left on his deal, with free agency looming in 2026. The Steelers are trying to lock him down with an extension, but if that doesn't happen soon, they might face a tough choice: risk losing him or exploring trades. Interestingly, the Steelers have been stacking their roster with new talent, including Jack Sawyer, drafted in 2025, and some veteran signings. But the question remains, would they consider trading Watt if the right offer comes along? And that's where the potential trade scenario gets even more intriguing. If the Steelers were to trade Watt in exchange for someone like A.J. Brown, it would be a bold move. It would strengthen their offense immediately, giving Rodgers a big-bodied receiver who can dominate contested catches, stretch the field, and add that extra dimension to their passing game. It's a move that would be a win-win for both teams. Steelers get an elite receiver to help them contend, and the Eagles could potentially bolster their defense or future roster plans with draft picks or other assets. Imagine the impact. A.J. Brown, reunited with DK Metcalf, both of whom played together in college at Ole Miss, would bring a level of chemistry and explosiveness that could be electric for the Steelers' offense. And for Brown, landing in Pittsburgh means joining a team on the rise, with a quarterback like Rodgers who can maximize his talent and help him reach new heights. Of course, all of this is speculative at this point. But the NFL is always full of surprises, and the trade deadline is a pivotal moment where teams often pull off blockbuster deals. The Steelers, with their aggressive offseason moves, are clearly signaling that they're in win-now mode. And adding a player like A.J. Brown would fit perfectly within that strategy. It's about making bold moves, about seizing opportunities, and about building a roster capable of competing for that elusive Super Bowl title. So, Steelers fans, what do you think? Could this be the offseason move that defines their season? Would you be excited to see A.J. Brown in black and gold, terrorizing defenses across the league? Or do you think this is just a fantasy? Whatever your opinion, one thing is for sure, this offseason has been anything but boring, and the NFL continues to surprise us with its twists and turns. The AFC North is shaping up to be more competitive than ever, and the Steelers are right in the thick of it, ready to make some noise. And now, Pittsburgh Steelers fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Pittsburgh Steelers. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Pittsburgh Steelers news. This team is always evolving, always pushing forward, and with moves like these, whether real or just rumors, it's clear that the Steelers are aiming high. Thanks for sticking with me, and as always, let's keep the passion alive. Go Steelers!